Good morning and welcome to today's almost daily devotional. We're going to read 1 Kings chapter 19. We're going to start with the 8th verse. It goes like this. Elijah got up, ate and drank, and went refreshed by that food for 40 days and nights until he arrived at Horeb, God's mountain. There he went into a cave and spent the night. The Lord's word came to him and said, "Why are you here, Elijah?" Elijah replied, "I have been very passionate for the Lord God of heavenly forces, because the Israelites have abandoned your covenant. They have torn down your altars, and they have murdered your prophets with the sword. I am the only one left, and now they want to take my life too." The Lord said, "Go out and stand at the mountain before the Lord. The Lord is passing by." A very strong wind tore through the mountains and broke apart the stones before the Lord, but the Lord wasn't in the wind. After the wind, there was an earthquake, but the Lord wasn't in the earthquake. After the earthquake, there was a fire, but the Lord wasn't in the fire. After the fire, there was a sound, thin, quiet. When Elijah heard it, he wrapped his face in his coat. He went out and stood at the cave's entrance. So Elijah is called into prophecy, which is not a great career path if you want stable family life. He's called to be a prophet of God, and throughout his story he finds himself to be alone, to be the last one left standing, the last one who is speaking for God, the last one who is working for truth. And so he goes out into the desert to preserve his life, where he's even more lonely than he was before. And he finds himself in this cave. God says, "Why? Why are you here?" And Elijah cries out with loneliness, "I'm the only one left." Now, tomorrow is Thanksgiving, and it's the beginning of a holiday season. And many of us will gather at tables with friends and with family, and for the first time in a while. And there won't be faces at the table that were there the last time we gathered. And we'll go through the holiday season and we'll remember the faces that used to be there, the people who used to be with us in that season, in that merriment, in that joy making. It's the bittersweetness of the holiday season. It brings back all these wonderful memories, often from our childhood, of family gathered to have Christmas together. And as our life goes on, sometimes that takes on less and less joy and more sadness. And so we read this passage today, and maybe we hear Elijah's story in a different way. Now, Elijah could have made some choices that were different than what he did. He could have acted out. He could have become angry. He could have taken on the same habits and behaviors as the Israelites who were not listening to God. But instead he went and he talked to God. He went and he talked to God. And how many times do we try to numb loneliness, numb our pain, numb our insecurities with all kinds of things? Sometimes we distract ourselves with buying, shopping, or eating food, or drinking, or whatever it is. Sometimes we act out in strong ways. We are more boisterous, more outgoing, more energetic, more smiley, more angry, whatever it is, to cover up that vulnerability. And sometimes we just are numb and we go through the motions and we act like everything's fine when everything's not fine. And I wonder if instead of doing those things, we were honest about our loneliness to ourselves and to God. What if we said, "God, I'm alone and I don't know how to do this." And maybe if we listened in that loneliness, if we listened in that solitude, if we listened for the voice of God, we may get an answer to how to turn that loneliness and that sadness and that sorrow into something maybe not joyful, but redemptive and God-filled. God bless.